And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you are all well. As you can tell, we have got our normal setup back. I got a new microphone, so the quality should actually be better than it was before. I think this one's a lot better than the last mic I had. But regardless of that, we are back to normal now, and we can do the normal videos. So, some big news to discuss in today's video. As you can tell by the title, a deal has been agreed after Brendan Rodgers gave the green light to it. So it's quite a big story there we want to discuss. But I want to start today's video by giving a follow-up to the Adam Idah situation. I couldn't really discuss it properly yesterday, and I do want to discuss it a little bit right now, and that is, of course, Norwich City have turned down a Celtic bid for Adam Idah, which is understood to be between £4 million to £5 million. So we reported like 2 days ago now that Celtic put in an official bid for Idah to get him back on a permanent deal after a 6-month loan spell went really well. He built a great attachment to the club, to the fan base, and Celtic were eager to get him back on a permanent deal, but that bid has unfortunately been rejected by Norwich City. So of course he spent the second half of last season on loan with the Scottish champions, scoring 9 goals in 19 appearances, which is like 1 every 2 games. He netted the Glasgow club's last goal of the campaign, the late winner against Rangers in the Scottish Cup final, which sealed a league and cup double. So Norwich apparently told BBC Scotland that they are not actively trying to sell Idah, and say new manager Johannes Hoff Fulop is excited to start working with him. The English Championship club also believed his experience at Celtic could help push him up the pecking order for the season ahead. And of course, he's under contract at Carrow Road until 2028. Idah is expected to be back for pre-season training early next week following international duty. He, of course, had a decent campaign. He scored in a 2-1 win over Hungary prior to Euro 2024, and also led the Irish attack in a 3-0 loss to Portugal. So, of course, Ireland never qualified for the Euros, but in the pre-season game, in the friendly games before the Euros, he had a pretty good impact in both matches. His goal-to-game ratio at Norwich actually isn't that good. He scored 17 goals in 115 games. That's why a lot of Celtic fans weren't too happy when we signed him initially on loan, but he proved a lot of Celtic fans, myself included, wrong, and he's done a really good job. So I guess the main thing is this is quite frustrating, I suppose. I mean, £4 to £5 million is a lot of money, and that's been rejected. So you are looking at closer to £8 million probably to sign him permanently for them to even consider it. So that kind of begs the question, is he worth that much right now, or do we set our attention elsewhere on another striker? I seen a comment yesterday, someone said he's not really too keen on signing Idah. He'd rather get Mivioski from Aberdeen, which he would cost around £7 million for him, as we reported a few months ago that his price has kind of increased at Aberdeen. So that's obviously an option as well. Mivioski could be a good option as well. There's a youngster from Costa Rica, the 18-year-old. Again, not really too sure about him. For me, Adam Idah would be the ideal choice, but how much are we willing to pay for him, and how much are Norwich City willing to let him go for? Because, as I said, he's on contract till 2028. He's got 4 more years at the club, so they have no real desire to sell him right now, apparently, because the new manager wants to try him out and see what he's like at the club. So it's a little bit frustrating, but we'll see how that one goes in the next few days, see if we go back in for him, which I think we will at least go in one more time for him, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens or not. So let's start. Let's talk about a player that's left the club, and that is Marco Tilio. So he has left the club on loan back to Melbourne, the team that he came from. Of course, we signed him for €1.75 million last summer. He managed to make just 2 cameos for the boys in the 2023-24 season. His campaign was ravaged by injury, and even after he returned to City on loan for the second half of the season, he still couldn't find consistent playing time. Going forward, however, the 22-year-old will look to rediscover his form that earned him his dream move to Celtic, having rejoined Melbourne on loan for the 2024-25 season. This deal was announced late last night with no buy option included. So perhaps it would have been more beneficial if he went on loan somewhere in Scotland. After all, it was kind of spoke about by Rodgers that he had struggled to adapt to the Scottish League. So in my eyes, it would have made more sense to loan him somewhere in Scotland rather than back to Australia. I don't know why they're doing that. But does that mean there's no long-term future for him at Celtic? Is it just a loan him out and forget about him type situation? I'm not too sure. But if they want him to really improve, they should have loaned him somewhere else in Scotland for 12 months and let him adapt to the league. That would have been a better choice, in my opinion. But hopefully 12 months of solid consistency and good form in Australia could help him in his return back to Celtic the following season. We'll have to see and how he gets on back in Australia for this campaign. But yeah, so that's kind of basically all of it, all the news for today, really. Again, it's been a pretty quiet day for incomings, of course. I mean, Adam Ida bid been rejected. That's the only real transfer movement we've made. And in my eyes, of course, it's a priority position, but we really need to focus on getting a goalkeeper in through the door as soon as possible, because as things stand, we have Scott Bain as our number one, which isn't ideal whatsoever. We really should be looking to get someone in through the door, in between the sticks. That would be my kind of hope for the next few days of this transfer window. Maybe Dubravka, he'd be a good option. I keep mentioning him. He'd probably be the best choice right now that I've seen, just because he'd get him on quite a cheap transfer because he's got 1 year left. He's 35, and I think he's pretty keen on the move as well, and he could come straight into the first team and do bits for us. And that's all that matters, really. Look, the proof's in the pudding, I suppose. Look at Marco Tilio. When we sign these project players, a lot of the time they don't really work out, and they end up going back out on loan again. We've seen it with Gustav Lagerbilk. We've seen it with Mark Nowacki, now Marco Tilio. O's leaving the club as well, going to somewhere in Belgium, Genk in Belgium. Loads of different players like that as well. Yang's not been that good either. Quo's gone out on loan somewhere as well. It's like these project players, yeah, it's all well and good. They've got high potential, high ceiling, but if they don't make it, it's just pointless signings. And that's technically 1.75 million euros down the drain with Marco Tilio. So we really need to focus on getting these first team players into the door. So the way I see it, pay a little bit more for Adam Ida, get him in. He'll be a regular starter for us for sure. Get Dubravka in, he'll be a regular starter. Invest in players that will make a massive difference for this squad. Because as things stand right now, I'm not too confident going into the next season with the players that we're being linked to and stuff like that. These project players is no good right now. We need 5 first team quality players in through the door in the starting 11. That's my thoughts, at least. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Actually, let me know your thoughts as a whole right now of this transfer window. I mean, it's been pretty slow. I mean, it's been a bit frustrating. Of course, let me know your thoughts with regards to the Marco Tilio situation. Another kind of failed sign as things stand right now. He could come good in the future, but it doesn't look too promising right now. And with Adam Ida transfer as well, let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think Celtic will go back in for him, yes or no? And how much do you think he's actually worth before we kind of say, no, that's too much money and walk away from it? I think 7 million, 8 million pound maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of money, but we need to invest in that quality, really, to make an impact in Europe. But yeah, drop a like on this video as always, and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.